So we got these beautiful hydrangeas from Sun Valley the other day. We got pink antique ones and we got the green antique ones. And it gave me pause to think about how we could make these pink ones different colors and the color shifting that can occur with hydrangeas. I've got several videos online about that. And, it's taking a hydrangea that is one color and bringing in accents of another color, much like this one is with the green. And so what I did was I worked with the pink ones today, and I worked with different colors of Just for Flowers and Tint-IT from Design Master. Now, Design Masters is truly the color experts because what happens is they have created these different types of spray. This one is called Just for Flowers, and that's true. It is just for flowers, gentle enough to use on flowers, and it's a translucent dye, which means that we can apply the color to another color and the other color shows through. So it can help us shift those colors in different directions. And that's the fascinating thing. Now, there's Just for Flowers. We have fresh green that we're doing today. We have delphinium blue. We have blue violet. We have purple pansy. We have black cherry. We have bougainvillea. And we have coral charming. And then we have jade in Tint-IT. Now, you may see Tint-IT at the craft store. And again, you'll see the translucent top on it. The Just for Flowers are available typically at a wholesale florist, but the Tint-IT is available at a craft store level. And again, there are different colors there too. So many of the colors that we see here are also available there too. And so what we do is we spray that on the hydrangeas. Now, I'm inside my house right now, so I do not have the ventilation like we have at our studio productions where we have a huge exhaust fan that pulls all that out for us. So I don't have the equipment outside to show you how I painted them, but I painted different hydrangeas today to show you the different effects. And then we'll make an arrangement, and I'll show you an example of another arrangement too. The arrangement I have right back here has some beautiful hydrangeas in it that I color shifted. So when we're color shifting, we're going to take out our can. We're going to line the nozzle up to the black dot on top of it. We're going to shake it. And you can hear that little ball down inside there mixing up all the different contents inside there. That's going to make sure that we get an even spray, and facing it towards the dot is going to ensure that we use up everything in the can. So we're going to do that. And I'm not going to spray inside today, but what we would do then is we would hold this back about 12 to 18 inches from the flower. When the propellant comes out of the spray can, it could be below zero. So if we were going close like this, we could freeze our bloom. We don't want to do that. We want to stay back, and we want to make large sweeping sprays of color. We might start on the back side and spray the back side. And then, see, I'm too close. Spray the back side. Then we'd come and spray the front. Okay, and we're going to do light coats because it's always easier to add more color. It's not always easier to pull it away. All right, we also don't want to go heavy in one spot because then the paint will run, and that will make it not look as natural for us. So I think that that's something else we want to do. So again, we're using these different colors, and I'm going to tell you the different types of colors that we used. All of the hydrangeas we used today started out this color. So we're going to leave this here as a reference, okay? That's our reference as this is where we started, and then we added other colors to have different results. So this is bougainvillea right here. So notice how that made that hydrangea bright. It took this hydrangea and made it much brighter. I'm sorry, I have the wrong one. This is Coral Charm. Okay, so it gave it that nice coral color. And this one is bougainvillea. There we go. Okay, so coral charming and bougainvillea transformed that pink hydrangea to this. Now that's just using one color on both of those. So again, coral charming, which was a color that was developed to match coral charm peonies, and bougainvillea was a color to match bougainvillea. So spraying those light coats on there, intensifying the color, allows us to come up with those different colors. And look at, we have three completely different colors from one color of hydrangea simply by applying just for flowers. So that's pretty amazing. All right, so those two colors made that. Now, let's take a look at another one. This one has had the black cherry. This is black cherry, and I just applied black cherry to it to give it highlights, kind of like your hair, okay? So this is the black cherry right there. Now, look at the difference. This is a softer pink, and now we've got antiqued colors. The one thing I love about black cherry is it truly adds that antique coloration that we see inside these. Okay, see how there's little dark tones in there? That's what black cherry adds. Really great opportunity for us to utilize that. And this one was green. I used the fresh green and then I hit it with a little bit of black cherry. So now look at how that one looks. That one's got much more antique look. Look at those two side by side. Okay, this one has more of that antique look. This is a brighter color, but this one has that antique look. And again, I used the fresh green and then went back in and added highlights of my black cherry. So the one thing that we know is when we add blue and pink together, we get lavender or we get purple, right? So depending upon the color variances that we use, we can have something different happen. And so I have one here where I used the delphinium blue. I went over and gave highlights of jade, and then I went back in with my black cherry. And now look at what I have there. Isn't that an interesting color? Now, here's the really cool thing about these Just for Flowers products. They're a translucent dye, but they also help seal the surface of the hydrangea, which means it prevents it from transpiring moisture off of its face. And so it helps them last longer too. Now, sometimes you may have a small project and you might get, or you might go to the grocery store, or you might go to a flower sale and you might get 5 stems of a flower that looks like this. And you want to shift a couple of them so it looks like you have some different interesting colors. This is a really, really great way to do that. You always want to spray in a well-ventilated area and do it that way. But again, this one we did the delphinium blue, the jadeite, and the black cherry. They also have a color called hydrangea blue, but it's a light color. It's a very light blue. So I go with the delphinium blue. They just released this blue violet, and that blue violet is reminiscent of the colors we see in hydrangeas. So what I did was I just put the blue violet just on a hydrangea. So this is this hydrangea with the blue violet applied to it, and that's what we get. So you can see that. You can still see those colors underneath because this is a translucent dye. I think that that's really important. Now, look at all those different colors we're starting to get together. That's pretty fun, right? Now, this one has the purple. Gave that a different element as well. And we've got one more here that is simply just delphinium blue. Okay, no other color but delphinium blue. This one we use delphinium blue, jadeite, and black cherry. This is it by itself. Okay, so you'll see that it gives it a lavender tone. But look at all those different hydrangeas. All came from one color, and we added the different tones and different tints. So Just for Flowers or Tint-IT to create the different colorations. Green with just the pink and a little bit of black cherry, straight delphinium blue, one below it, delphinium blue, jadeite, and black cherry. This one, just blue violet. This one, just purple this one, just purple pansy. This one is just black cherry. This is black cherry and a little bit of the blue violet. This one's bougainvillea. This one's coral charming. And this one's the color that it came. Okay, so you got that. So let's make an arrangement with that. I made an arrangement starting with this using the Coral Charm and this one and the one that was just black cherry. Now, when I start to hold those together, look at those. Look at how they look like they could have been picked from a bush, but had different colder areas outside with them. They look very similar in coloration, but they are different colors. And so I utilize those to create an arrangement. And we're going to use some of these other ones today. And I'm going to show you these. We'll show you what those three look like with the arrangement that I created. And then let's use, how about these three? Okay. Those three, again, notice how they have the different tonalities, right? And they start to be those purpley colors. So we're going to use those. Now I'm going to just clear off my paints for a sec because we're going to do some flower arranging. If you're interested in more information about Design Master, you can visit their website, dmcolor.com. You can visit my YouTube channel, because you may be watching this on YouTube right now. There are videos up here about Just for Flowers and how to use those tinting products to color shift your flowers. You can go to ubloom.com. And at ubloom.com, we're having a membership sale right now. You can join for a month for $3.99, or you can join for a year for $38.40. If you put in the code 50 at home, all one word, 50 at home, all capital letters, then you get 50% off your membership. And if you do auto renew, you'll keep that rate forever. So that's a good deal too. But there's plenty of videos in all those places that allow you to learn more about using the great products from Design Master. You also learn about other great products from Sun Valley too, and that's where these beautiful hydrangeas came from. So let's get ready to make a project, and let me show you another project. I made this one with flowers from the garden that include a, here I get my little turntable on the table so we can spin this around. I used these three colors of hydrangeas, okay? I used those three colors in this arrangement, and then I added a couple of cafe au lait dahlias, some foliage, some sedum from the yard, and some peach and pink colored zinnias. It's a very vintage colored arrangement, and again, it featured these three colors. And so that helps those other colors blend together. I think that that's super important. So we're going to create another arrangement here. And inside my vase, I have just a couple little pieces of fun stuff that fell out. I have ice cold water. And then I have add my Chrysler Professional 3. One squirt in there, and we're ready to go. Again, cold water. We're going to use our hydrangeas inside there. Aren't those beautiful? Okay. And just imagine, we started out with this, and now we have this. That's pretty incredible, thanks to those folks at Design Master. Pretty fun. All right. So we have got some other flowers here. We've got some zinnias. Again, we've got some dahlias. We've got some foliages. Okay. So we're going to start with that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a few hosta foliages. I like that the hosta is kind of reminiscent of the foliage on the hydrangeas. And I like to start with a structure, as you know. So we're creating a structure down inside there that are going to hold our flowers in place. Now, I'm also going to start with my hydrangeas, because my hydrangeas can also form a structure. I'm going to have to pull off those two leaves because they would fall below the water line. But we're going to drop a hydrangea in there like that. Pretty, right? Very simple, very easy for us to do. And then we're going to use another one. I'm going to use this guy, okay? And we're going to slip that in. I'm going to have to take off that. And there we go. We've got two hydrangeas in there. It's already starting to be a beautiful arrangement, right? We probably could just stop with 3 hydrangeas, but I always like more. So we'll do more. Now we're going to add some other foliage to this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some scented geranium. This is just about, we're just getting about to the end of the scented geranium here in Michigan. We're going to have frost one of these days. Still not yet, but here's what I talked about structure. See how I can put this flower right through that hydrangea and tuck it down into place. And that hydrangea is supporting that piece of scented geranium foliage. I can do the same thing over here. I'm going to slip him right in there like that. Then I love this time of year because my viburnum in the yard has these beautiful blueberries on them. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? That's just beautiful. And so I'm going to add some of that to my arrangement here. Again, I want to pull off any of those leaves that are going to fall below the water line, and then we can stick that in there in between. I'm going to use another one on this side, pulling off those leaves. I'm going to fall below the water line, and look, I'm going to go right in the middle of my hydrangea and tuck that down into place. So it's substituting as a structure for this arrangement and allowing me to place other things into the bouquet. I've got a couple more pieces of this. I'm going to save that one for topping, but this one I'm going to go right into the middle again. So now look at that. Looks pretty good, right? Got that going on. Now, look at this. When I was thinking about this in the purples, look at this is the blue African basil. And again, we're going to be to the end pretty soon. But until then, I will keep using this blue African basil. I made 2 batches of pesto the other day. So we're going to have pesto all winter long for our pizzas and for our Italian dishes. But I'm going to miss this guy as a foliage for my arrangements. But I love that it has that little purple coloration in there. Doesn't it look great? Yeah. Okay. So now we've got one more hydrangea, and I'm going to have him be up high here. Okay. So I'm going to cut him a little bit longer. Think about there. And we're going to stick that in up here. So it looks good. See how we've got a nice little layer? And those hydrangeas, even though they looked different, now in this vase, they have different tonalities, and that's really helping us extend the texture and the color palette and the depth of this arrangement. Because there's a little bit of pink in there, there's a little bit of blue, there's a little bit of the jade. All of those are coming together to make it look really beautiful. So now we'll add our zinnias. Okay, and look at, I just picked the magenta and lavender ones because I thought those would be really sweet with these flowers. I'm removing basically all my foliage because by this time of year, there's so much powdery mildew on the zinnias, and that's just the way life is. That's what happens. It's wet and it's dark here in Michigan. Now the days are getting shorter, and so we start to get lousy looking foliage on there. But the blossoms are still beautiful. And also by stripping that off, then when I go through my hydrangea, it still goes in there easily and looks great because I'm not catching those leaves and dragging them down inside. And I got to make sure we get in the vase. That's the thing. There we go. Look at those. Looks so great. I just love the tones in this bouquet. We've gotten all these jewel tones. Look at, we need some more. We need some more flowers down in there. And again, this is an easy arrangement that you can create at home. You can have it on your with our Chrysler Professional Glory that's down on our base. It's going to last for a week or so on the table, maybe longer with those hydrangeas. If we have a bloom or two that doesn't look real good, we can pull it out and maybe replace it with another bloom. That all works. And again, remember when you're arranging flowers, this is supposed to be fun for you. You're supposed to enjoy yourself. Put on your favorite music. Get your favorite beverage. And now look at that. And again, look how clean and clear our stems are. right? There's no leaves below the water line, and that means that our flowers are going to last longer. Things are going to last longer. We don't have bacteria production underneath there. It's going to be great. Then I've got a couple of dahlias. This is just about the end. Every week, Craig comes to me and says, well, I think this is the last week. But then the next week he shows up again. So we've still got a few dahlias. I typically, I'm the using these with a white edge on them is going to add a little bit of vibrancy to our bouquet and not make it be so dark. Some people, I really pay attention to white when I place white in my arrangements, because I know that adding white will dilute the other colors by a lot. And so, just having a few of those in there really brightens up the bouquet, but it can also make the other colors look not quite as intense. And you'll notice that that's actually happening as I'm placing these dahlias into this bouquet. Now, interestingly enough, this is the same variety of dahlia, and look at those two blossoms. Look, one is all variegated in coloration. Same plant, exact same plant. But this one is more, and I think this is gonna go right here. There we go. That's a good spot for that. Now, I told you about topping. I left these for topping because I didn't want to bury all of my blue viburnum. I didn't want it to disappear. So I want to have some that'll go in the top so that I get that good texture with everything else. And I have a couple of hosta leaves too, because my last hosta leaves were way down on the bottom, right? So now I can put in a couple as topping, just like this. And it's going to give me some green inside that bouquet. Look at that. Really fun, really easy, beautiful, with those hydrangeas from our friends at Sun Valley. That's so pretty. So now, and obviously, you could do a jewel tone one, or you could do a vintage, nice little pretty one like that. We've got lots of options there. Oh, look, when I put that in there, it didn't go in the vase. That's why I always run my hand around the vase one more time, because sometimes I don't see that. So that's good. And then you guys could call me on it and you could say, hey, your viburnum wasn't in the vase. Okay, look how pretty those are. Oh, see, that's nice. And this is nice. There we go. All right. So here's a little recap for you. We had our beautiful hydrangeas that we got from our friends at Sun Valley, this color and this color, okay? And we took this color today and we changed them up using the Just for Flowers from Design Master. And so with this one, we did the coral charming and the bougainvillea and the black cherry and the green. Over here, we used the purple pansy, the delphinium blue, the jadeite, and the blue violet, and a little bit of black cherry over here too. So we used those to shift our colors so that we could make a beautiful arrangement. Now, look at that. We could also make a pink arrangement, I guess, with lots of pink in it too, because we still have some of these left too. That'd be awesome. But again, just knowing how we can shift those colors one direction or another. Our vases are all filled with ice cold water, and they have Chrysler Professional 3 inside them. We cut everything using our bypass cutters from Dram, and we had our compact shears here just in case we needed them. And our flowers are going to last longer because they have the Just for Flowers on them. And I love that. I mean, just look at how pretty that hydrangea is. It's going to last a long time, a real long time. That's wonderful. So I hope you had fun with flowers today, fun with another episode, part 3, about our hydrangeas from Sun Valley, where we did color shifting, implementing the color tools from our friends at Design Master. Until next time, keep having fun with flowers.